high-tech robots to fight COVID-19. These robots were donated by the United Nations Development UNDP Rwanda.
We agreed to support the ministry. We signed an agreement between UNDP and the ministry. The minister and I signed an agreement, and we provided the funding for this. And so it's been a few weeks. The major challenge we had was getting the robots to Rwanda because of the lockdown in many countries. But eventually, with a lot of support from the minister herself and from Rwandair and the Zora Robots team, we're able to get the robots in.
The robots have the capacity to screen 50 to 150 people per minute, deliver food and medication to patients' rooms, capture data and notify officers on duty about detected abnormalities.
Good afternoon, resident representative of UNDP Rwanda.
Mobile robots also have functions like facial recognition, temperature screening, monitoring patient status, and keep medical records of the patients. The Ministry of Health says the use of robots in fighting against COVID-19 will help doctors and nurses in reducing their contact with COVID-19 patients and minimizing their risk of infection with the deadly virus.
I think they will help, especially health professionals who are here in taking some of their duties and therefore being less exposed to be infected by COVID patients who are here. There is a lot to do here in a treatment center because you need to provide drugs, you need to collect vital signs, you need to provide food, meat, etc. So if some tasks can be under responsibility of these robots, I think medical staff will be employed for the rest of activities and perform it very well because they will be discharged for a lot of activities currently they are doing, but it will be under responsibility of robots. We just need to set the program and they will do it.
The Rwanda Ministry of ICT and Innovation says this donation from the UNDP technically has another impact, which is to encourage youth to think big of innovation solutions that can bring in times of global emergency.
So yes, we have a local subsidiary, Zora Robots Rwanda. It's led by two Rwandan technicians. They have a team that is dealing on the maintenance part for these robots when it's needed, but they have a larger team that is going to put in place the robotics academy, where we're really looking to expose the younger children to robotics and get them excited about it as we build more skills in the STEM fields for the country.
The robots have been given Rwandan names: Akazuba, meaning sun in English; Ikizele, meaning hope; Mwiza, meaning beautiful; Ngabo, meaning shield; and Urumuri, meaning light.
United Nations Development Program in Jumia, Uganda are partnering to bring the food market close to the consumers of fresh food using an online platform.
The early recovery of the country. We know, for example, the impact, like I said, is economic in nature, and to be able to recover, you need to do things differently. So we see this as part of, you may call it some incentive mechanisms, stimuli to bring back and to inject much more confidence into the economic process, but also bring back trade back to life. So you can look at it in terms of helping the country to respond currently, but also to recover in future and to lay the foundation for doing things differently, like I said, looking at digital technologies.
The launch of the digital platform is seen as a game changer in connecting informal market vendors to customers online. Digital platforms have become more relevant due to the shocks and disruptions of the supply chain caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
It is felt throughout our economy. It is felt by our members of the informal sector who are badly hit because they can't travel, they stay at home, they cannot access their workplaces, but at least they are safe, at least they are healthy. we'll be able to struggle to get out of this as when we start addressing the economy.
The partnership comes at a time when majority of Uganda's population is on lockdown, which has limited the access to fresh food markets. However, the initiators of this e-commerce initiative are more focused on the future of shopping, which is bound to change drastically in the coming months.
It's not the market vendors. It's not the lady or the young man who's selling fruits in Nakasero market. These people have been left out of that online marketing, online trade. And this partnership puts these market vendors at the forefront of the new industrial revolution, which is technology.
For the initial 6 months, the digital market innovation will benefit vendors in the 5 Kampala markets of Nakasero, Nakawa, Wandegea, Bugolobi, and Kalerwe located in the central business district and the city suburbs. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
I'm humbled.
The new coronavirus, COVID-19, is challenging us all. We need to be ready and take on this threat together. I ask all of you to be safe by following medical scientific advice and taking simple practical steps such as thorough hand washing and other recommendations by health authorities. Be informed and stay up to date with the latest guidance from your government and the World Health Organization. And be kind and make sure no one faces stigma. And together, let's be smart and fight COVID-19 in solidarity as United Nations. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Courtney Doggart, and I'm the president of Network 2020. It is a real honor today to have Ms. Ahuna Ezeakonwa with us to speak about coronavirus in Africa, response and building back stronger. So just really quickly, I'll give an introduction, and then I will turn it over, and we'll have time in about half an hour for Q&A. So, just so you all know who you have the honor to hear from today, Ms. Ahuna Ezeakonwa officially began her role as UNDP's Assistant Administrator and Regional Director for Africa in August of 2018. In this role, she leads the UNDP's work supporting 46 countries in Africa to achieve Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Prior to taking up this post, Ms. Ezeakonwa was the UN Resident Coordinator and the US UNDP Resident Representative and UN Humanitarian Coordinator in Ethiopia, as well as the UN Resident Coordinator and UNDP Resident Representative in Uganda, and before that she held the same position in Lesotho. She has also worked as Chief of the Africa Section for the Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, where she managed over 15 country operations in Africa. Before joining the United Nations, Ms. Ezeakonwa held a series of senior positions with civil society organizations in Africa. She holds a master's degree in international affairs with a focus on economic and political development from Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs, and she is personally passionate about broadening the space for engaging youth and women in sustainable development. So we are really quite lucky to hear from her today about the UNDP's response in Africa. With that, I will turn it over just with a quick note that if you have a question to ask at any time, please do put it into the Q&A box. And if you are calling in, you can email Brian at bthang@network2020.org, and he can put that in the queue for you. And he'll also post all those instructions. So, Ahuna, over to you.
Thank you, Courtney, and thanks a lot for inviting me to this platform. And let me say a big hello to all the network members. It's a pleasure to spend this hour with all of you. I suppose most of you are in New York, so here's also wishing you well as we go through this crisis here. I have been, as you heard from Courtney, most of my work life has been on the continent of Africa, and I am myself, I'm an African, grew up on the continent, went to school there for the most part. And I have to say that I've